It's hangout time. When's it happening? Thursday, June 21st, 5 p.m. Pacific time. You want to come and chat with me and Jeff and some other concerned citizens live? You can do so. All you have to do to join is head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and support us at the hangout level. That's crazy.
I know, it's wild. It's like his first gigantic.
Wow.
Yeah.
What have you ever done?
Nothing. Very much nothing.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
You know, we talk a lot about...
I'm such an asshole.
It's fine.
I just saw the...
It's not like it didn't occur to me.
I was like, man, that's a good cold open.
It's fine.
I'm an asshole.
You know, we talk about a lot of science on this show, and mostly...
Less and less, I find.
Well, that's true.
You know, I feel like we did... And now we're mostly a show about when birds steal pepperoni. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're both good shows.
You know, one or the other.
You know?
It's, you evolve. Evolution's a science.
Yeah.
Evolution's a science, and we evolve ourselves.
I read a fascinating article once about how over time, the unique individual style of all cartoon characters gets kind of like scrubbed away, and they get cuter and cuter and more generic.
Like the Simpsons, where you look at the first of the Simpsons.
I don't know why that just occurred to me, Jeff, and I'm not going to think about it any more than that. What's our story this week?
Well, the reason I brought up science is because a lot of the science we talk about involves...
did talk about,
involves experimentation on a scale and a complexity that you can't really do at home. You know, you can't really convey...
And if you can, you shouldn't. They put right on it. They say, don't try
this at home.
You'll say, I want to try it at home. And they'll say, you better not.
Right.
You better not.
It usually involves the death of mice.
Yeah.
Or larger animals.
What doesn't?
You know? And while we are down to try weird shit in our own time.
I'll kill any animal, anytime, anywhere.
It's not something we advocate
science,
for.
For sport.
Which brings us to today's episode, which is something you, dear listener, can try in your very own home. This is a story about an experiment you're welcome to give the good old college try.
Oh, but I don't want to try this one. I know the one you're talking about. I don't want to try this one.
I know. We don't have the guts to try it.
We
literally could have tried it before this episode started. We didn't want to.
No, thank you, sir. This experiment is actually one of my greatest fears.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about an article sent to us by Brian Towns.
Thanks, Brian Towns.
Who I believe has a nickname, but who could remember?
I want to say it was FM Towns.
Really?
I
thought maybe he was the City Towns.
Oh, Brian the City Town. You know what? I think I initially wanted to call him FM Towns after that like weird esoteric Japanese game console. But I think I wound up going with the City because who gets a fucking joke about a Japanese game console?
Well, that usually is...
Hopefully Brian the City Towns does.
Anyway, Brian sent this article to us about a series of studies actually done by psychologists stating that you can stare, or if you stare into someone else...
My eyes are up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what those scientists are saying.
That's what they're saying.
Stare all you like, but just make sure you're keeping it business.
Well, that's the thing. If you stare into someone's eyes for 10 minutes, it will induce an altered state of consciousness, not unlike taking psychedelic drugs.
I don't want to do it.
I don't either. I'm terrified of it.
Both of us are now. You can't see this, dear listener.
We don't look at each other ever.
I actually set up the microphones. I have Rob come in early and position the microphones so Jeff and I are actually like back to back, but like 5 feet away from each other. We have like a
Medusa situation where there's a series of mirrors because that's the only way you can actually look at Medusa.
Yeah,
that's how we deal with each other every day. It's only through a series of mirrors.
I like that you said we have a Medusa situation with a series of mirrors because Medusa.
Yeah, that's how Medusa works.
Yeah. But I'm glad you really hammered it home on that one.
Yeah.
This is why I can't bear to look you in the eyes. So you can't see it. But since since he mentioned this, we've been like kind of doing eye contact.
Yeah.
And then like we're both thinking about holding it a little bit longer than normal. And then we're looking away.
It's terrifying.
Because we're like, should we do it?
Can't do it.
Listen, man, I love a good psychedelic experience. Maybe more than most.
Yeah.
You're
into it.
I'm not going to say as much as the next guy because the next guy may not like them.
Not as much as you.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy is totally fine with them.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't like. prolonged eye contact with another human being.
It's intense.
I've been married for 3 years. I would say that I've gazed into my wife's eyes for a total of maybe 97 seconds.
Yeah. And that was on your wedding day when you had to say, I do.
No, it's split up over the 3 years. Wedding day was 4 or 5.
Cumulative.
Yes, cumulative. Did you think I was talking about like at one time?
Yeah, 97? I thought maybe.
No, that's crazy. Are you kidding me? Look directly into another person's eyes for 97 seconds?
It was 97,
what kind of monster are you?
It was 97 individual moments.
Yeah. Over a period of 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, actually longer than 3 years because we dated for many years before that.
Yeah.
But 97 seconds. And I love her.
Yeah.
I love her more than I could ever love anybody.
But not more than a furtive glance.
No. Have a little fucking modesty and decorum, people. There's no reason to look me in the eye. Please don't.
So how do you accomplish this feat? Well, there are some...
Well, number one, you're a crazy person.
You're a crazy person. But if you're
a fucking sociopath.
If you're bold enough to try this experiment, here's how you would do it. You and your partner, you sit about a meter away from each other. So fairly close.
Yeah.
And you have dim light. This is not bright fluorescent light. This is light that's bright enough for you to see features. You're not sitting in the dark.
You're talking about like some candle light. Like
yeah. You set the mood.
A little mood lighting.
Yeah, you got to get that mood. So you have to be able to see all the facial features of your partner, but low enough to diminish their overall color perception.
Okay.
Then you stare.
No.
It's not a blinking contest. This is, you can blink all you like.
No.
You just keep those eyes locked.
I might just keep my eyes closed for the rest of this episode. As a matter of fact, just talking about it is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to.
And what starts to happen? Well, people see strange shit. They start seeing maybe the face morph into other people. They start seeing features drop away. They start legit hallucinating.
My dude, I can get you the same thing with more added better.
Yeah, but just taking this little
$5 a hit.
Yeah, but this is the
it's controlled. You know when it's coming up. You know when you're going down.
This needs no added ingredients.
Now, if you look away, does it immediately stop? The moment you break your gaze, does all the magic end?
I don't know. They don't mention that.
I found that's what happens.
Yeah, maybe
with love.
With love. So they say participants' descriptions included deformations of their of the faces that they see, faces of alive or deceased parents, archetypical faces such as old women, child, or portrait of an ancestor,
or
animal faces.
Orville
Redenbacher. It's like
some
those
people
new commercials.
say it's definitely the KFC Colonel, but some people say it's Orville Redenbacher.
Animal faces such as a cat, pig, or lion, even fantastical or monstrous beings. There's always, invariably...
This is literally the most boring part of acid. This is literally the most boring first 30 minutes of acid.
Well, they say invariably all participants noted a feeling of otherness, a strangeness, the ability to not kind of recognize what they're seeing in front of them anymore.
No, you got to stay silent. It's just a quiet stare.
Quiet stare. This also works, by the way, solo.
In a mirror? Yeah.
Mirror. You start seeing your own face distort and fall out and be weird.
I've been there too.
Yeah.
I've been there too. This is a public service announcement for any of the kids out there. Just don't look in a mirror while you're tripping.
Just not ever.
But also ever.
Yeah.
There's no need.
There's no need.
Live your life like you're sitting Shiva the whole time. And that's what I say. You sit quietly in a room by yourself.
Shiva. Sit Shiva without the necessity of someone dying. Don't worry about whether
your clothes are clean. Don't fucking look in a mirror. Don't talk to anybody except your closest relatives and have all your food delivered. You got to live life like you're sitting Shiva.
It's a good plan.
But also when you're on acid, don't look in a fucking mirror.
Yeah. So this is intense. This is something...
I would get bored. I think if I was doing the mirror version, I would get so bored before it happened.
Well, they say that it actually doesn't... they're saying 10 minutes, but they say that you'll see effects in less than a minute.
No, you won't.
That's what they say.
No, you won't.
They said all the participants in this study noted effects less than a minute in, but if you go 10 minutes, it's when the good shit happens.
What happens in a minute? Probably garbage.
You start having this disassociation.
Oh, sure.
With what you're looking at. It doesn't look recognizable. And there is a scientific explanation for this.
Yeah.
It's all of the acid that they slipped into your drink.
Nailed it.
Kind of makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No,
they're putting it in the water. They say it's fluoride, man. They say it's for your teeth, man. I know what they're doing. The government, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing.
They want me to not look in a mirror ever again.
With the TV antennas.
If I look in a mirror, I will finally see myself for who I am. And that's not what they want. That's not what the rich and powerful want.
Not what I want. Last thing I want is to look in a mirror and see who I really am. So me and the government are on the same page with this.
Yeah.
The government and I both discourage any self-reflection.
Literally and figuratively.
And I hope you will heed this.
Yeah. No, the scientific explanation for this is something called neural adaptation, which is a description of how your neurons slow down or even stop their responses to unchanging stimulation. So basically, we are built to notice when shit changes. If something doesn't change, if we stare at something for a long ass period of time, our brain goes, well, don't need to worry about that. Nothing's happening.
No, but that feels to me like it's a recalibration where like, because nothing is happening, our brain is like, is something happening? It feels like something just happened. And it's maybe like taking smaller and smaller stimulus, smaller and smaller changes and enhancing them in such a way because we are looking for changes. Is that what's going on?
But literally your neurons start shutting down. They start not participating because they don't feel needed.
Subjecting.
They don't feel needed. They're like, you know what? If you don't want me, I'm just gonna chill for a while.
Okay.
And
so when they shut down, what happens? What causes this crazy shit when they shut down?
Well, what happens when they shut down? Generally, what happens is there are micro movements in your eye that wake them back up. So your eye will be like, "Fuck it, wake up." There's some shit changed. Some shit changed. But if you can maintain a stare into a face that's familiar, you can actually cause this to happen and force your brain to. And what happens when it shuts down is it stops noticing details and it starts just. Stuff stops entering your perception. So you go, oh, that face looks fucking weird because I just stopped perceiving that you have eyes.
But what makes it change like that then? So what turns it into your parents' face, an animal's face? Like what makes that change?
Well, we don't really know how to describe that phenomenon.
Okay.
It's whatever the pattern recognition in your brain is doing once the details that you would normally see fall away.
It feels like it might even be similar to like what your brain does when you go to sleep, where it's just like, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
I guess something's gotta happen.
And this is crazy. This phenomenon was actually first described in the 18th century by, and this blew my mind.
Orville Redenbacher, I was right.
It's close.
The KFC Colonel.
Erasmus Darwin. Charles Darwin's grandpa.
What?
Charles Darwin's grandpa was a scientist who was doing good shit.
But in accordance with Darwin's findings, they became better and better scientists every generation.
That's right.
They became sleeker.
They naturally adapted to being scientists.
It's just like, man, I'm an even better scientist than my grandpa. My grandpa was the science of like staring in a mirror and seeing weird shit. I'm actually looking at fucking evolution.
First of all, let me say Erasmus is a badass name that needs to come back.
Let's bring back Erasmus.
Erasmus, come on. I wish I hadn't heard that before I named my son.
Do you know why I think Erasmus is not coming back?
Why?
No good nickname. Because Erasmus is fine, right? Yeah. And when your kid gets older and decides I am fully grown and I embrace the name Erasmus.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. But you got to give your kid a name that has a good nickname.
Rassy?
So I have a friend who's
Eero?
I have a friend who named their kid
Muss?
Geronimo, which I hate. I hate. And I've told them that they're terrible people for doing this.
Are they American Indians?
No.
They're not Native Americans in any way?
No.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Maybe in a, like we've all gone to music festivals way.
Okay.
But like no.
Right,
but the nickname for this kid is Jerry or Smokey.
Smokey.
Right?
That's kind of cool.
So like the whole idea is bad. It's bad all the way down.
Yeah.
But at least Jerry's in there, right?
Yeah.
Erasmus, what do you do? None of the names, I mean, you were bringing them up as gags, but like, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Erasmus is just Erasmus, and it's a mouthful. You need a nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest thing is maybe like an Ira, but that's not Ira.
Yeah. I mean, you could go completely, you could call him like Shorty or something.
Just give him a normal middle name.
Yeah.
Erasmus John.
Yeah.
And then if he wants to be John or he wants to be EJ, he can be EJ.
EJ's pretty good.
EJ's dope.
Or even ED in this, because he was Erasmus Darwin.
Yeah.
First of all, cool name. Second of all, awesome that Darwin's family lineage it makes Darwin even cooler now.
Darwin didn't even want to be a scientist. It was just a family business.
Fucking family business.
He wanted to be an artist.
Go to the archipelagos, man. Figure some shit out. Come back when you're a scientist. Charlie.
I want to go
Chuck,
to
it's so
Paris.
great. Listen, we gave you a nickname.
And learn to play the guitar.
We gave you everything
and smoke cigarettes.
Everything that I wasn't born with. A nickname. That's it. That's all of it. But everything.
I want to meet a beautiful French girl, like whatever this year's equivalent of Julie Delpy is. Whatever that equivalent was.
Chuck, you gotta be a scientist. You gotta contribute to the world. You know what I contributed to the world?
Yeah, the staring
thing. If you
thing.
stare in one place for long enough,
you stared at a mirror.
Fucks you up. It gets you real weird.
You stared at a mirror for a real long time, and I think you almost fell asleep, and you thought you turned into a cat.
I don't
think that's science.
I was finding myself.
Can a thing turn into another thing over time?
No, it can't. Stop. Pay attention.
Fuck you! I'm gonna go prove you wrong, Dad. Paris sucks. I'm off to do science, but not the kind you want.
And that's the origin story of Chuck Darwin. So he actually described this as staring at scarlet silk about an inch in diameter on white paper.
Sure.
He's like, if you stare
Just get out your scarlet silk. You're going to need a couple things that everybody has at home. You're going to need a bolt of scarlet silk, the deepest crimson and the finest silk that you can find.
You find it directly from India.
Yeah.
And
in your junk drawer. Wherever you have it.
He said that the scarlet color becomes fainter till at length it entirely vanishes.
Just stare at a focal point. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep looking at it. And
who wants to tell Erasmus that you can just draw a dot on paper and get the same thing?
But he used silk.
Yeah, he's a fancy scientist.
So this is neural adaptation. This is the thing that your brain does when it decides that there's not enough new happening for you to keep paying attention.
Is there a time when neural adaptation comes up in daily life when we're not staring and trying to get a fake high?
That's a really good point.
Is neural adaptation more than just the salvia of the mind?
I suppose any time that you are doing something for long enough that things fall away out of your perception, you don't notice.
Yeah.
You know what? This is another example of, I bet, is the that famous thing where you look at the count how many times a person does a thing, and then the monkey walks by and you never notice the monkey.
That I think is something different.
That's something different?
Yeah, because everything's changing, and this is an unchanging.
True. Good point.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
Anyway, the funny thing about this is about old Erasmus is that he noted this, and then later, this Swiss philosopher named Ignace Paul Vital Troxler,
man, that's another good
he
name.
corroborated Darwin's observations, and the phenomenon became known as the Troxler effect.
Ah, suck it, Darwin.
Yeah.
We've got better Darwins to think about.
No one will ever know the name Darwin, fucko. Ha ha! Try to make the name Darwin last in history. Everyone will know the Troxler effect. No one will know of Darwin. That's what Erasmus told Chuck every goddamn day of his life. Come over here, boy. I want to tell you a story.
I know. The name has to live on. I don't want to talk about it.
Do something.
I'm going to Paris.
Important.
I'm serious.
Please.
Well, this is cool. If you are brave enough to try this thing, which I'm going to tell you right here and now, never going to fucking happen.
I want to know.
I'm never going to stare into somebody else's eyes for 10 minutes.
Make it happen.
That noise. But if you do it, let us know.
You got to tell us.
You can tell us on Twitter. I'm at @Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And you can hashtag those.
Troxler. Yeah, he won.
Yeah, fuck Darwin.
He won.
You know what I'm saying? And hey, if you want to talk about this story or other wonderful stories with other concerned individuals, there are a couple places to do so. Number 1, the subreddit, wehaveconcerns.reddit.com. Number 2, the Facebook group. Nothing bad or wrong ever happens on Facebook. Facebook is perfectly safe. Don't worry about Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/group/wehaveconcerns. And number 3, the best of them all is the Discord, which is available only to patrons who donate $1 or more a month to keep the show running. And you can find out how to join that at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.